Not supposed to do it, but we saw some more cases this past week. 10 people charged in Wisconsin, while in North Carolina, the State Board of Elections there is referring 5 cases to prosecutors of voters suspected of casting ballots in that state and in Florida in November. And there are questions, though, about whether the voting records are correct, but it's all under investigation. Why can't the system seem to catch this stuff before it happens? Retired Air Force Lieutenant Colonel DeLancy is head of the Voter Integrity Project of North Carolina and joins us from Raleigh. Good morning, Jay. Good to see you this morning.
Good morning, Eric. Thank you for having me.
You know, of course, some people would say, hey, it's only a handful of votes out of millions, 12, 15, whatever. Doesn't matter. First case in Ohio, then in North Carolina, Florida, now Wisconsin. I imagine you, though, think this is significant. Why?
Well, a lot of people say that because they want the public to go back to sleep and not realize there's a problem here. We had just a little teeny bit of a window of data into this whole process, and we were able to find about 300 people who were registered in both states, which is perfectly legal. There's nothing wrong with that. But they were registered, and then as we looked at it some more, we realized that these people, actually more than 10% of them had voted. So we got worried, and we forwarded that to both Florida and North Carolina, and they agreed that 5 of them are worth prosecuting. But we view it as the tip of the iceberg.
Well, I mean, why does it take an organization like yours to try to uncover this? The system, the Help America Vote Act, is supposed to try and solve all this and prevent any possible problems.
Well, we're a volunteer organization of people who just loan their surplus intellectual capital, if you will, and one of them, a retired quality engineer named John Pizzo, he has been working this for years, and he joined us, and we found this data, and these are what civilians can do. These are just what people do in something we call mining public data, where we look at the data, we try and just draw inferences from that data to see if we can spot trends. And if we do spot a trend that looks suspicious enough, we report it to the authorities. Anybody could do it.
Well, you look at,
but we have.
Look at the data. We've got some facts about registration. It's pretty astounding. The Pew Center last year found almost 3 million people are registered in more than one state. Let's break this down. More than 2.5 million are registered in 2 states. 68,000 in 3 states. Almost 2,000 people registered in 3 states. And there was one noted case, Wendy Rosen. She was a Democratic congressional candidate in Maryland. She admitted she voted twice in Maryland and Florida in 2 elections. She just a couple of weeks ago pled guilty, got 5 years probation, $5,000 fine. And Jay, look what she said. I voted twice. It was an act of civil disobedience in recognition of the millions of legitimate voters who have been illegally prevented from voting or having their votes counted during the past 4 presidential elections. What I did wasn't right, it wasn't smart, but it was one of civil disobedience, not arrogance. So, Jay, there you have someone who is running for Congress who admits she voted twice.
She's running for Congress. I didn't know that. That totally blows my mind. Yeah, the problem with it is the laws are written with regard to voter fraud. Most states write their laws in a way that is more protective of voter fraud than it is detective. And we have been detectives on this, and we've uncovered dead people who've had their identity stolen. We've uncovered non-U.S. citizens who voted, and we've uncovered people who went to the polls to find out somebody had already voted in their place, just stole their identity. So while for this particular problem we've uncovered this week with the Florida deal, states should share their data as a way of protecting it. But of course, voter ID is going to be the real answer to a lot of the other problems.
Well, that's a controversial answer that a lot of people oppose. But it's a situation that's out there, and you found these. We'll see what happens with these cases. Jay DeLancy, we thank you for joining us. Voter Integrity Project of North Carolina.
Thank you for having me, Eric.
Absolutely. Take care. Jamie?
Stay on the beat, Eric.